It's Arukh HaShulchan Yomi Day 1483. Your day Simon Reish Pei, Sif Yud Beis to Simon Reish Vav Sif Daled. Yud Beis. Case Hakon is a how do you fix a letter which is ripped through the middle? The answer is, but it is a takana. You can't fix it. Vigor could always have to scrape off the entire letter. He takes like Tanamako put a small patch there to write on. Film Nechlek goes, even the letter is split. Because of Rabbeinu Ramashim Nechlek Shem Osif, the letter is split. The Rama writes, if the letter is split, they create by a rip. Psula is possible. You can't glue it from behind. It's not comparable to that we still know one letter is split. Abshutos if it's a simple letter. In other words, it doesn't have another part to which it has to connect in order to be read. Such as you have a base and the tips were torn off, it's still kosher. That's not actually standard source. Also, the foreign letter is not changed. Even if though it's split, not glued. Meaning without the part which got split off, also it still looks and be read like that letter. Practice says here, whatever they meant is difficult. It's written properly, as long as the child can read it, it's still good. It sounds somebody saying that you can also include the part which is split off. Evidently that's really not l'chatchila. You can also writes the Ramah. When you sticking a needle through the parts, you should do it not within the writing, but outside the writing. And quote, sheets for a year when you are sewing the kriya, when you're sewing the rip, you shouldn't put the needle through the writing. So is also in order not to ruin some letter. You have to make the stitch between letters. The Torah says it's best if you do it between words. Because there's a gap there the size of the small letter. The bein also because between letters you need to be very careful. So the letter not get ruined. Kamuvan is obvious. Really, it seems to me according to those who forbid writing a patch. Nechlek is a os if a letter got split or nechsa or is missing. Got ruined. There's no fix. But so therefore in that case you have to completely erase the entire letter, entire word. You also both lie, put the patch there. Can't put anything on the patch. But that word you should squeeze it among the prior words, or the later words. You should scrape away some words. And squeeze in this word among them. Is a shame which will not, if you have a shame Hashem there, you can't scrape. You gotta exchange that parchment page. Don't see any way around it. According to those who allow you to write a patch, they can write. Most poskim you can write on a patch. You got Kosta Tuva Shulchan see base. Sefer Torah Shabbalim many rows of your Sefer Torah that parchment pages came worn out. When you have to switch them out. You shouldn't take 3 and 2 and put back 2. You shouldn't take 2 and put back 2. You should take 3 and put back 3. Perish meaning. If only 1 or 2 wore out, you have to fix 3. If you should exchange 3. If you should she was such because it's not possible those you're switching out will be exactly like those who which are you're switching in for. At least they have at least 3 parchment pages similar. Therefore, then difference in the writing is not so denigrating. Cain says similar thing. What you put back should be according to the proportion of the first writing. It's best, of course, the first sofer could write them if it's available to do it. But near the B'Yevet, but if it's not the same sofer, but the B'Yevet, it's okay. Test Vav. I knew this idea of doing lachlifios to Tovos Lagonzo That's anything else. Says, I don't like this. If you have one which is ruined, why switch out to 2 perfectly good ones? And the Behavior name of says you only switch out the bad one. Name Koradin, this is the source of Logam, Sarah Soin Perk Base, Loch Zain, Zel Shoin says in himself. So if you if you have a parchment page which wore out, Loito Shnaim Yachzer Shnaim, don't take away 2 and put back 2, or the night there's Shloshim Machzer Shlosha, take away 3 and put back 3. Mashu Machzer can be this, and when puts back should be like in the same size font as the first one, and he has Daite Amunim Kai. So it's not going on parchment pages, it's going to have 3 to 8 columns, going on columns. No urea, no parchment page less than 3 columns. Be up to 8. Like we just said. He says urea shabosa. If you have a parchment page which wore out, you shouldn't take 2 of the columns. If their column was not ruined. Cut off 2 columns. You make new ones. You have 1 parchment page of 2 columns and 1 of 1 column. To be evident, even though b'diavad it's not an impediment, it will work. Like it says there, you should not do this. Not the shlosha, you take away 3 columns, and max shlosha, and put back 3 columns. When you react to shlosha amudim, if the parchment page only has 3 columns, you have to switch the entire thing. You said it's more lechtok, you say shlosha amudim. You should not cut more than 3 columns. We don't need take off more because their other ones are bad. But never you don't switch out an additional one which is good, like was the premise, just because you want to switch out 2 or 3 at the same time. You want to switch out from the one which is no good. Who is no good to write Sefer Torah? Odim and other halachas. Aleph Isa begin says himself kid in Sefer Torah Shchas will mean so which is written by heretic Yisrael should be burned. By Hashem was coming kivin so they might have a zohe. Chasvu Akum, if a non-Jew wrote it, Yikanez should be put in Gniza. Not be burnt, should be put in Gniza. The Beit Lo means because of Shem Zeh. We don't say in that case they wrote it for Avodah Zarah. We shouldn't name Kshira, but he can't write it because it's not included in Kshira. Says you should tie and should write. Kol she'en b'kshira and Kshira, but somebody who's not in the midst of binding tefillin cannot write Sefer Torah. Kashi or Bryce, those who learn the Bryce, Sefer Torah, tefillin, mezuzos, shkason, which are written by Eved, Isha, V'kotan, Kuti, Malshin, Mitzri, Ba'avarion, sent by a slave, a woman, a child, a Kuti, a Samaritan, Malshin, an informant, a Mitzri, an Egyptian, Ba'avarion, and the sinner, Psulim. No apostle goes to Torah. There's a third degree. Somebody who's not involved in tying tefillin, Oshalon Itztavu, or is not commanded to plant tefillin, Osha Porkalem Omachushaman, or they remove from themselves the yoke of the kingship of heaven. Einam B'Shum Ksiva, they can't write anything. And mezuzah, therefore, mezuzah option, mezuzah, even though they're required to have mezuzahs. Kol nevertheless came to film to us since they're from tefillin, they're potter. So Ksiva, they're not allowed to write a few mashlevas, even saying they're required to have. And if they're allowed to sew the stitches for the parchment page of Sefer Torah, he had said that they are permitted. The bracket says here, Taisvis, going to Taisvis in, he doesn't say where, but the Brown getting Daf Chav Gimel evidently brings it down. Malshin Bar Bayan Rakmi Rabbanan, the informant and the sinner only posted Rabbanan, not the Oraisa. Base Lomachol Elu Muraki Ganez Min Yisrael. Why by all these they say should put it in Gniza, and by heretic we said it should burn it. Mishnah Kol Elu Rak B'Torah B'Sol Don. Rak B'Torah B'Sol Don. Because all these latter cases, the Torah apostled them. They don't have mind do things over the Zara. Feel Mitzi in Egyptian, we don't say it is generic assumptions for a generic Torah Avodah Zarah, meaning here Mitzi being censorship, a stamagoy. It's not Shem Avodah Zarah. Meaning, but the very frum ones, the heretics, Adugim V'Chavim, who are clinging to their Avodah Zarah L'Shmam, and their names, Kasu, they wrote the field there for their Sefer Torah, so don't say that they need to be burned. Zamish Mechazah. That was the meaning in the good old days. Apikosim, we like Apikosim. But now, Lo Shech, it's not relevant. She'enam Maminim B'Kochavim. even the minim. They don't believe in avodah zarah. Elohim porke omar cheshvan. They just want to get off the yoke of the kingship of heaven. They including sinners. Therefore, whatever they write goes into the gniza below sefer, it's not burned. B'tzorach l'das, you should know Rambam Matur v'shor kopos and shekas the minimum because shekas he sareif. That there all of them wrote that when the minimum because writes the Torah should be burned. Zel b'minu shezman that was the gezunta alta minim. B'achshav enu mitzuyim. Schwer zu zvonen hagut amin b'zman hazeh. Gimel yesh l'aktiv l'shon shas. We can join inference language in shas. Lomra yigonez. It didn't say yigonez. El rachak sabo akol lev is written by non-Jew. Lo akol. Absolutely not on the rest of the Psulim. Perhaps the Psulim within camp, perhaps it's true about all the Psulim. Oh, so Bryce will marry, but it didn't there. So that Bryce was talking about the other ones. Bryce assumed Mishum the Bemin Amarai Yisrael, and this Bryce says by mean you should burn it. You guys, it says by the Akum you should generic Akum you should put in Gniza. Ramas King because around Bergav Din Yugim was El Shol. Ram writes this way. Save it to a film Zuzah Sheksav and Mini Slofu. And by mean they have to be burnt. Ksav chuli o isha o katan. And the psulim they're possible to be guns, but they only have to release a chuli akan l'shono. End quote. Dav yesh didactic. We can infer lomit to gniza. Why is it required gniza? Ram so reish berg yud kosav zoshono. Ram writes. Nim says the lomit. Shasim v'rim hey misha b'chol chad mehem posel sefer Torah. 2 things which each one of themselves posel sefer Torah. Not sabo echam mehem. And if one of them, one of these psulim was done at the time it said it was written. Harei hu kechumash min chumashin. Doesn't have to be burnt. Doesn't have to be put in nisa. It's like a chumash. Shem lamdi mantiyogos didn't teach children them. The ain book who's just sefer Torah doesn't have to start to sefer Torah. They korim but Rabbi don't learn from it in public. Akal shara. Chashiv shem mosem tzrichtov includes all those who are apostle to write. Ayin shah. Ve'yitir shel lo yilimadu ma'amatinaka. So he allowed the children to learn from them. Why here is required Gniza? Tzarchim we have to say the members come also Tzarchimar be'emes come also mashama yigonzu. That was just putting Gniza. Ganki can also king. Klomar yigonzu v'lo yikoru. V'lo yikoru b'tzibuk the Sefer Torah. Should be putting Gniza and not be written in public like a Sefer Torah. Chem before l'shem shas giving shem the Gniza rak hifloch mikriya. Gniza is the opposite of reading it. I'm not sure. What do you gain? I guess you put it in the back of the Aron. I don't know. But you don't have to actually bury it. Let's see, the brackets helps. He's not going to fit. It's going to go on for a few seconds, so it's going to go to tomorrow, but let's see what bracket says. Bracket says, Shomer Shem is there. It says, Shmar Sefer Torah Shanim So Chuli Kohen Bo V'dach. If you find Sefer Torah randomly, you can lay in it. V'dach V'dim Malik knows. Now maybe you have to put in knees on Shem. Chem Avor Me'aran Shem Shkasu L'Shakasav. Ksavo Kuti Igonez. Ram says it was written by a Samaritan putting these on. Shabi Shem Kosa Shem Kochavim. Even though it's not right for the purpose of it. It's our apostle. The time the Gemara Sefer Torah Tfilim Mezuzah Shakasim Chulei. Psulim Shem Ukshartam Chulei. They're no good because it says Ukshartam. It has to be Bechlau Ukshartam. I think Kuti here means actually a guy. No, it makes a difference. But the Samaritans do have the Ukshartam. I read a plus of Gniza Davar Echadu. So plus of Gniza they're interchangeable. Kamal Yikalosh Gniza Ushloin Hogban Bizayan. The main line of Jesus is not to conduct himself with the not to conduct yourself with them in a denigrating way. Kamucha Reish Berakos Fise. The Tanan it says Ben Shein Koren Bam Tonic Gniza even if you don't read on them, they have to go to Gniza. Be'esh Rashi also Rani Tchan B'Makom Hefker. Niza doesn't necessarily mean you have to bury it. You have to not leave it in Makom Hefker because it's not Kodesh Gusha Sefer Torah, but it is Kodesh as Divrei Torah. Okay, Arukh HaShulchan is not finished with that. He's going to come back tomorrow and ask questions on that.